Intriguing information yesterday shared by Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson, the 2019 NFL MVP, with Rich Eisen. Listen to what he had to say about whether and to what extent the Ravens offense is a little too predictable.
Just from the eye test, it looks like things aren't coming as easy for you this year. Is that a safe way to look at it? That things aren't.
I feel it's a lot of with schemes. We're going against defenses. They calling out our plays, stuff like that. Like they know what we're doing. So a lot of that, sometimes stuff won't go our way if they beat us to the punch.
So you're hearing on the other side of the line of scrimmage the defense calling out your plays? That's what
they definitely do. Like runs, stuff like that. Watch out for this, watch out for that. Sometimes that's what's going on.
So how do you combat that, Lamar?
So I guess we're going to halftime and let coach, let us know what he sees upstairs, and we just go from there.
That's troubling, isn't it, to hear that a quarterback is perceiving and realizing that defensive players know what's coming. Once you know what's coming, more than half the battle is won as a defensive player. It's that guesswork that happens before the snap that gives the offense its edge.
Well, listen, there's some of that goes on in an NFL football game. I think there's a lot to talk about this, to unpack this a little bit. I mean, the first thing is this. Hey, the offense last year took the NFL by storm. It took the NFL by storm. So, what do people do when that happens? They all study it. Then, once they all study it, and especially the teams that know they got Baltimore on the schedule, they're all taking a week going, wait, this guy, how are we going to tackle this damn guy and these big linemen he's got in front of him? So everybody's doing a little due diligence anyways. Then, the other aspect of this too, Mike, is, teams with running quarterbacks that have any mobility are running some of the plays that Lamar Jackson and company run. So now, the repercussions of that is their defense gets to practice against it in practice now, right? So there's all those aspects. And then, added on to it, hey, let's not forget it's still the number one run offense in football, and they do that. But I will say to his point, because I went back and watched Patriots Ravens from last year a little bit yesterday because that's our Sunday night game. And the Ravens offense is not as creative as it was last year, not even in the run game. I don't know why. I don't feel like there's as many different formations and the movement's not quite the same way. But nonetheless, it's still a really good run game. I mean, it really is. Now, the pass game does not help them. And because they're a run-first team and teams are always worried about that and clued into this and all those type of things, and the pass game doesn't scare anybody, that, emboldens those linebackers and things to call out runs and be all of that stuff even more, Mike. So, yeah, they're going to have to do some self-scouting. It's something I said on the pod the other day where they're going to have to reevaluate how they attack a little bit because I'm sure there are teams on to a little bit of their tendencies.
And I know that's just one of the many things that coaches have to worry about as they get ready for a game. They're studying the opposing defense, but the best organizations, and the Ravens are one of the best organizations. That's what makes this surprising. The best organizations will have coaches in place whose job primarily, if not exclusively, is to engage in that self-scouting, to stay a step ahead of the opposing defense and ensure that the offense doesn't have those tendencies and tells that can be picked up in film study and allow a defense to call out plays and say, this is what's coming next. That's what's coming next. And, I also can't help but wonder just the fact that Lamar Jackson pointed it out. And look, it just kind of came up casually, but I can't help but wonder whether or not defenses think that rattles him a little bit. To hear that some of it is common to football, that you're always going to have before the play, watch that go here. No different than 52's the mic, right? You're going to have the defense yelling to each other and trying to get guys lined up based upon what they see. To the extent that that's registering with Lamar Jackson, and he mentions it spontaneously during an interview, maybe they're doing it in part because that's part of this game of getting inside of his head before the snap. Is there anything to that?
I don't know about that. I will say to the point, though, that maybe, I like to what you're saying, where it does go on, like it goes on. And, not that I played a ton of quarterback in the NFL, but even in, our best games, you still had middle linebackers who were going, hey, watch that guard. He looks like he's going to pull or do those things. I think the reason he's bringing it up is because he's probably hearing it more this year. And I think he's probably a little astounded by it at times where, there's probably some tells, certain formations, personnels, and all the tricks about what people look at as far as alignment of guards when they're pulling and doing all those things. So I bet you that's a little shocking to him. I'll say this, though, too, Mike, off of that. Man, I had a lot of times where I heard linebackers and people call plays out, and I went, man, we're going to see how this works, right? Like, I'm too late in the snap count. I'm going to say set hut. Here we go. Too late. Guys called out the play, but then I give the ball to the running back and turn around, and damn, it's a 15-yard gain. So that doesn't always mean the play won't be successful. And then I think the other thing, too, is Baltimore is one of those teams, Mike, that I don't know if they give a damn sometimes if you know what play they're going to run. I think they just go, no, we're better, we're bigger, we're more physical, we're coached well, and so what, what's coming. I don't know if they're always looking for the curveball to self-scout themselves, right? If they run like two guards pulling to the right and he hands it off and hands it off and hands it off, what they do sometimes is just the same play, but they go, hey, let's keep him honest. Lamar, keep it out the back door. So it's the same look, but the defense can't play it the same way because, we got to worry about that damn quarterback who's got 3 rockets up his butt going around the edge. And that's a little how they do that too. So there's a lot to these subjects. I'm not concerned about it, but I have noticed that they're not maybe as creative this year as last year.
And you're absolutely right. Some teams are so good it doesn't matter if the defense knows what they're going to do. And also, as it relates to spotting what an offense is doing, part of it is alignment. Part of it is all it takes is one guy to be
That's right.
giving that message based on how he lines up for a pass play, how he lines up for a run play.
100%.
And that's what offenses need to be studying in their own film. They need to be looking for the same things that the defense looks for. Chris Spielman was on this program early on, before you joined us, and I was fascinated by his tales of what he finds in film, what he looked for in film. It's anything and it's everything, and it's alignment and it's every bit of body language every player. Right. Anything and everything, and you see those tendencies develop, and that's what helps you crack the code on what's coming. But as you said, sometimes it doesn't matter.
Doesn't always matter.
Crack the code.
No, it doesn't.
You still can't stop it.
No, it doesn't always matter. But hey, I'll say I played the Baltimore Ravens the opening game of 2006, and I don't know. Ray Lewis was called out every other run play we played that day to speak to like a guy like Chris Spielman who could, this guy, he turns his butt like 3 degrees when he wants to pull, and I know that's when he's pulling, or he cheats this foot back a little bit when he wants to pull the other way to give himself an advantage. He called some plays out that day, and I remember just going, oh my gosh, poor Michael Pittman. I'm about to hand him the ball, and Ray Lewis is going to crush him. I don't know what else to say. But yeah, he was all over it, and I know, and I don't know exactly, but it was through the offensive alignments. Yeah, we did plays that we know we liked in certain formations and personnels, and that, of course, gets them to start thinking. But he was calling out guys like, he's going to pull, like he knew, and that was scary. Him and Zach Thomas, I'll say that. 2 guys, Zach Thomas, legend down there in Miami, they called more damn plays out. I sometimes was like, does he have the damn quarterback thing in his ear too? Is he hearing Gruden call the play? I mean, they were amazing at it.
And it's funny when you mention the Ravens, it reminds me of something I noticed years ago. Randy Moss's rookie season, the Vikings played in Baltimore, went to the game. When the play was coming to Randy Moss, he sprinted out of the huddle. When Randy Moss wasn't involved in the play,
jogging,
he walked to the line of scrimmage.
Right.
And it was obvious. It was so obvious. Now with a guy like Randy Moss, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
But the other 10 guys probably would have preferred
they need the
not
advantage.
to have the signal
right.
that you could focus on the other guys and not focus on Randy Moss this play.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.